Okay, so I'm wanting to build a little shelf for in here. I'd like to put it right up in here. That way I can fit some more plants up in here. I kind of have like the hanging gardens happening in here. It's nice in the winter time because it gets a little depressing and glum outside. As you can see, it's pretty white and snowy. It was getting very springy and nice, and now it's kind of glum. But we're gonna build a little shelf to go right up in here. It's minus 11 out. I've got the heaters going. It's quite comfortable out here right now. So I have an old board here that was part of a shipping pallet, and then I have some old shipping stands here, or parts of from shipping, that we're going to turn into the brackets to hold our shelf up. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use the Porta-Power skill saw that my dad bought me, or circular saw. Yes, skill saw is a brand. And we'll be cutting this off, and then I'll sand it down, we'll clean it up, and it actually should look pretty nice by the time we're done. I quite like the grain of the wood. It's kind of neat with the core wood there, a little darker and things. I like it. Okay, so I had a slight change in plans. I was going to try to use these brackets, but I changed my mind, and I found these. They're out of a combine, and I thought they'd be kind of neat. I'll drill one more hole in here, and that way I can have two in the stud, and they'll go on the wall, and then I can just use a bolt through my board to bolt the board down to the wall, and then that should support my shelf. And it'll just look kind of unique, I think. These holes will be empty, but I think it'll look kind of cool when I'm done. I'm going to paint them black, just because I have a lot of black metal in the area already. I like the look. It's kind of like wrought iron. So that's my change in plan there. I got my board stained and sanded. It's not perfect, but I wanted it to still have a little bit of a rustic look. Like I could have done a little more sanding in some of these areas to try to smooth it out a little more, but I like the texture of it and the density. So this is the side that'll face down. Simply, my wife and I are short, and the shelf is going to be fairly high, so this will be the side we're going to see. This will be the side we won't see, and it's nice too. It doesn't have quite as much coloring. The only real coloring was here in this knot, whereas over here we had this kind of reddish coming the whole way down. Here on this side you can see we just have a lot more color and density in it, and I really thought it was quite nice. So I think it'll look kind of neat when we're done. I didn't want to show you all the sanding I did. I used my Black & Decker orbital sander. The reason I didn't show the sanding, that's kind of boring. I spent over an hour sanding this. A person could spend much longer, use finer grits, get it even smoother than it is. But for what I'm doing, this will work fine. It's going to be a shelf, not fine carpentry. But hopefully, I'll continue on here. I'll get the brackets painted, and then we'll show you our next updates. Okay, so I'm wanting to paint these brackets, but I don't want to get grease down it, or I don't want to get paint in these threads too bad, or I'll never get a bolt in there easily without tapping them. So a little trick, take a Q-tip, take some grease, coat your threads, paint it. After you're done, spray it with some brake clean. It'll wash the grease away, and you'll have clean threads. I've changed my mind. I was going to use these brackets here to hang my shelf. I've changed my mind. I just didn't like them. They were a little thin and just not the right angle. I found these brackets here out of an old combine, actually. Just part I saved just in case for something like this, I guess. And they used to be green, but now they're black. I kind of like the wrought iron or black metal look. So this is going to be what I'm going to hang my shelf on. I need to drill another hole here, and I'll do that now. I'm going to get the drill press checked up. So I'm just going to center punch, well, measure and then center punch, and then drill my hole. If you haven't drilled metal before, especially if you don't have a drill press, use a center punch. Otherwise, you're going to find your drill wants to wander, and it's going to be hard to get a hole started once you've done that. So center punch first, measure twice, even center punch, and then, like this says, wear safety goggles. So we will get those drilled out. I'll get them mounted on the wall and we'll show you the next step. Okay, so I've got this all chucked into the old King Canada drill press here. And I've got it in my 3-inch Power Fist Chinesium vise here. And I just wanted to show you how handy these little vices are. I don't have this one bolted in. Technically, if you were doing real heavy stuff, you would want to. I'm doing pretty light things, and so I usually just hold this handle, and then you can, if it catches, you should be able to have enough leverage to hold things. Now, if you're doing real heavy stuff or had a real big drill press, it could catch and twist it right out of your hand or your materials out of your hand. I've had it happen. So that's where one of these bolted down is really nice, because if it catches, it's just going to stall the motor. But I wanted to show you this little drill press. It actually does work quite well. I'm going to give this a try and see if I can do it and hold the camera at the same time. Try and get that lined up. It's like a hot knife through butter. Now I just got to clean that up and make it bigger yet. We're almost there. Then do the second one, and then I can get these mounted up on the wall. Okay, one little trick here. I'm just switching up to a bigger bit. When you go to put your bit in, pardon me, keep the deck of your drill press a little high, and that way you can stick the bit through the hole and make sure it's going to line up with your hole. Okay, let's get that going the right way. Okay, so we got that open up now, chuck open. You want to make sure it lines up with your hole, because otherwise if you go through the material you're drilling and start drilling into your deck, you will drill through it, and it's not the end of the world, but the more you do that, you're going to wreck your deck. So we don't want to wreck our decks, so let's keep it centered. And the good way to do that, just do the up and down test. It's easier to do when you're not holding the camera, but so once I tighten up the chuck there, I'll drop the deck a little bit, and then I can put my piece in there and drill through. Okay, little hack here. If you ever have a drill press, tie your chuck with a chunk of twine somewhere out of the way on the back. That way, just enough you can reach and tighten and loosen your chuck, and then you can just let it go. And next time you need it, it'll be hanging right there. It didn't fall off your bench or get covered by something, and saves you a little bit of time. Okay, so there's our shelf. I've got it bolted up. Combine brackets there. She's good and solid. Now I just have to transplant some plants and put some more plants up. We'll add to our little hanging garden. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to, suggestions you have or anything you'd like to see, let me know. And I'd be happy to show you.